think it's so fitting that the NFC South is going to end in the most ridiculous way possible. So let's go to Saturday. It's, of course, 4:30 p.m. And by the way, guys, just to preface this, we discussed this last week. We said Bucks-Panthers could likely be the 4:30 game because it's not really a highly coveted win-or-go-home game, even if it does turn out to be win-or-go-home game, but it's still win-or-go-home. So you want to put that in a primetime slot. We saw the potential of Seahawks-Niners. You said if Ravens-Steelers doesn't happen, that'll probably be Sunday night, which would have happened. Ravens-Steelers, we knew if that happened, that would be Sunday night. So this is kind of how we map things out. No one's really surprised about this. And also, as we were discussing, off air last week, that I thought right when the Sunday schedule was about to come out, I said they'll put Bucks Panthers Saturday at 4:30 regardless of what happens in the Falcons game, because this is the 4:30 slot on Saturday is a game that's meaningful but not necessarily win or go home. It could be affected by other games, but it's not necessarily affected by other games. Just like last year, remember they put Ravens Browns Saturday at this time slot, which was a very similar thing. Like the Ravens could already clinch the division by winning, but if they lose, then the Steelers played the next game against the Bengals. It wasn't an overly meaningful game, but it meant something. So it's the same concept here. But I think Bucks Panthers 4:30, a potential win or go home game, is a great game for the 4:30 slot. They usually don't get this high magnitude. So, Meisty, what are we thinking about Bucks Panthers on Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, again, you already know next week in the wild card round it's going to be Bucks Panthers in the same time slot in a week from now. So that's guaranteed. No, it is. Whichever team wins, they're going to play next week at home.
Oh yeah,
and going to play at the 4:30 slot on Saturday. It's a lock. It is the biggest lock of the century. So I do think, this game makes no sense. Neither team likes to win. Panthers probably are going to win just to keep the streak of win-loss going. But the Panthers lose to the worst teams in the NFL. They beat the good teams in the NFL. I don't really know if you call Packers good, but I mean they beat other good teams also.
They were good at that time, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're good and then they're bad and they're good. I mean, it makes no sense. The Bucks have probably the best. I'm trying to think. No, I don't know, but like the best wide receiver room, almost. Like they have to be up there with the best. Like they have names. And they got McMillan back, and they have names, and yet like Baker is. I love Baker, but when Baker's back is against the wall, he's the best in the league. And then when it's like, oh, Baker's good, and then all of a sudden he's like, right, I stink. It makes no sense. He makes no sense to me, but I don't know if it's him, the O-line, if it's the defense. The team is just not connecting. They're probably going to get a new head coach next year also. Maybe they take a hard start Tomlin. I don't know what their plan is, but we'll see what everyone does. And yeah, I really have no clue who's going to win this game. I think it might be like the worst game of the year, where like no team moves the ball down the field, but it's not because of good defense. It's just who sucks more than the other team. That's the team that's gonna just make the Saints Falcons game. Winner of that game gets the division. All right. Like I want to see Tyler. You meet Tyler Shock in the champion in the playoffs. Dude, that guy is baller. That guy knows how to ball. They have a quarterback down in New Orleans. He's gonna be their future. He's a baller. Chris Olave is not going to the hospital every week. I mean, just give Tyler Shock the division.
Yeah, some people saying they want to see big Kirko chains in the playoffs too. But yeah, it's very funny that the Falcons start playing very well when they're already eliminated. The Saints are playing well; they're already eliminated, and both of those teams probably are playing better than the Panthers and Bucks. But to me, what it looks like the Bucks are playing like a team that I don't want to say they gave up on their head coach, but like they want a new coach. And like they lost that game to the Falcons on Thursday Night Football, and then Todd Bowles called him out in his expletive-laden tirade, where he's like, you gotta freaking care enough. It's more than job. You gotta freaking want it more than than we appear to be doing. And I think the players are just not interested in playing for him anymore. And I really wish Tampa would win this so we could have the silly ending with everything coming down to the Falcons Saints. And how awkward would it be if like Carolina loses in a close game to a division rival so they're deflated, and then the Falcons win, and so then the Panthers are all sitting in their locker room, and then they have to take out the hat and T-shirts, be like, "Oh, yay, we just won the division," even though we didn't do it. It wasn't our part, and they would be 8-9 as well. So,
That's what the Patriots did
um,
this past year.
There's nothing more NFC
but
South. There's nothing more NFC South.
yeah,
The Patriots
oh,
did
the
that this
Patriots.
year. They lost that week,
I
and the Bills, and they pulled up the hats, and they were able
I
to pull
know.
up
Yeah, but they
hats
won
after.
11 games before that.
No,
So
exactly.
Yeah,
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 I was
yeah.
going to say they earned it,
right.
but I don't know. I think
I just hate the
Tampa
Patriots.
should win this game. Yeah, Tampa should win this game, but the weighted DVOA is the DVOA scale that uses like more recent games and how they're playing right now measures like drops off the older games, and they're playing worse. They're 24th, and the Panthers are 22nd in weighted DVOA. So like they're both playing really below average football right now, and like overall they both have bottom 10, 15, 12 offenses. Like it's just not good, and the defenses are below average. This team, whoever wins, is going to get absolutely smoked in the wild card round by the Rams, Seahawks, or Niners. And I think, I mean, I would probably pick the Panthers, but like,
You don't know about playoff
no,
Baker.
no, I want that would be awesome, right? Like, yeah, playoff Baker. If we could see playoff Baker, that'd be amazing. But like, I legit think the Bucks are don't want to play for bowls anymore, and they just, if they lose now, then they get it out of the way, and I think he probably would lose his job if they collapse this hard. Remember the Colts were 7-1, 8-2, and the Bucks were 5-1, and they were in top seed in the NFC. The good old days back in October. Colts Bucks Super Bowl bound.
Feels like an eternity ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, literally, yeah. So I don't know. I just think, yeah, like Micey said, they have so much talent in the wide receiver room. They got Bucky Irving. They got solid running back game. They got okay tight end. Baker should be good, but I think maybe his shoulders hurt worse than we thought from that Rams game. And yeah, their defense just doesn't want to show up. And maybe Bryce Young completes a pass more than 5 yards downfield this week. Panthers should be able to come away with the victory.
Yeah, remember in the last game between the two, that was actually Bryce Young's highest graded game according to PFF, 91.4. Actually, Bryce Young had a very good stretch between weeks 13 and 16. I think he missed one in the middle, but he played against the Rams, Saints, and Bucks, and he had 8 big-time throws, no turnover-worthy plays. If you like traditional stats, he had 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he had yards per attempt around 8. His adjusted completion percentage around 80. Like the numbers are really good in that 3-game stretch. Then came last week, and he didn't complete a single pass of more than 5 air yards. That is ridiculous. Yeah. 1.6 average depth of target, 54 yards in total. I think it was even less net yards once you take away the sacks. So it was just an unbelievable, horrible performance for Bryce Young. That's what we've been getting from Bryce Young all year. Like, you had this 3-game stretch where you're like, man, look, number 1 overall pick. Here we go. This is why you're picked where you are, and you're finally hitting your upside. And we've had stretches like that throughout the season. He had a great game against Dallas early in the season, a great game against Atlanta in Week 11. But then last week, it's like, what happened now? It's the Seahawks defense that's causing trouble for all sorts of quarterbacks, obviously. But yes, and that's a factor. But which version of Bryce Young you're going to get, nobody ever knows. And remember, in the last game, the Bucks had a comeback opportunity. And then there was a miscommunication between Baker and Mike Evans. It's very interesting. I was hearing someone break down that play. It looked like Mike Evans was running a post, and Baker thought he was running a corner route. It's a little different than that. Baker, as he loves to do, as we know, we love game time Baker, last 2 minutes. He loves to improvise, loves to extend the play. And when that happens, the receivers, eventually a quarterback extends the play to a point where the receivers stop running their routes. They just run with their quarterback, right? So Baker assumed that Mike Evans was going to do that. He ran to the left. He assumed Mike Evans was going to run to the left. Instead, he ran inside and intercepted. So that's kind of how that ended. They had a chance in that last game, despite how well Bryce Young played, his best game of the season. So you got to think. Listen, you look on paper. The Bucs started the season 5-1. They've lost 7 of the last 8 games. If the Bucs do not make the playoffs here, whether they win this game, whether they don't make the playoffs via a Falcons win, I mean, it's one of the biggest collapses in the last 10, 15 years, and we've had some big ones, a la Jaguars, a la Philadelphia Eagles. So it's going to be a big one. It's a big game for the Bucs to try to save their season, I think, and try to prevent them from really collapsing here down the stretch. But ultimately, guys, like you said, Meisty, come on. We know what the Panthers, since week 7, alternating wins and losses. This is the Panthers game. Whatever the line is, give it to me. Bucs favored by 3. Why are you giving the Bucs points here? I don't care. On the
Bucs
road.
minus 2.5.
You're getting playoff Baker. You're getting playoff Baker here. There's no question about it. Playoff Baker.
Which one's stronger, playoff Baker or Panthers alternating wins since week 7? I'm taking the Panthers here. I'm taking the Panthers.
I think that the Bucs are playing for more because at the end of the day, the Panthers are like, let's use the Falcons to win. And, and it's kind of like they know that in the back of their head, I forget, coach, whatever his name is from the Houston Texans coach, D'Amico Ryan. He was the one who was like, you don't think about other teams and you don't really think about anything else other than this week, not overlook anything. But I still think that, the team like the Panthers are not good, and so they do think about other teams and other situations, but we'll see what happens.
So who you got, Meister?
I would take. Oh yeah.
Me?
Gotta put the money down.
I'm going with the Bucs. That is not
Bucs. I see line Bucs minus 2.5. Would you take them to cover that, or Bucs to win straight up and Panthers cover, or what are you thinking?
I think, but I don't know. I just think the Bucs are so much better. I think I know that you're saying like Todd Bowles, they hate the guy, but like
I think so.
If you're a player though, like you're not guaranteed to be on the same team next year. Like Baker maybe, but Mike Evans might not return next year. Like these types of guys, they don't know what team they're going to be on next year. For them, you got to go to the playoffs. You get the bonus for going to the playoffs, whatever that bonus is.
You're making a mistake, Meisty. You're giving analysis for an NFC South game. This is not how you analyze the NFC South. It's trends. Everything's trends.
I'm the guy that's not an analyst. Here I am speaking analytically.
Talking Baker late in the season, make some nice throws, the roster, but forget about all the logic. We've known this for weeks already. Last week I said it looked like the Panthers maybe would cover. We all agreed the Panthers were going to lose by 7 or more to the Seahawks. And look, that's exactly what happened. Even when they had a chance to, we're like, we know it's predictable. We know what's going to happen. Trends. It's all about trends.
And you should use analysis. Isn't that using analysis?
That's your analysis. That's your analysis.
My analysis is that I'm not analyzing this.
No, I'm not analyzing. Yeah, analysis is there's no analysis.
Who you got, Yehuda?
I'm gonna go Panthers straight up, so they cover because everything I do agree with what Micey's saying. They don't know. They're going to be on the team and they're playing for their job and all that. But I just think Bowles doesn't really seem to have the locker room right now. And they're just, season's just going to end. It'll be very depressing because it's like going to be in Tampa in front of their home crowd. Losing to a division rival after they blew a very once promising season when Baker was getting MVP hype at the beginning of the year. So very sad, I think, for the Bucs fans, but unfortunately, we get to see Bryce Young and the Panthers get blown out in round 1 instead of the Bucs.
I'm kind of intrigued by Bryce Young in the play.